Welcome to the first episode of my Power Rangers vlog. If you couldn't guess, my name's John, and we're going to be looking at the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Because I need some excuse to binge watch Power Rangers and not get yelled at to get my butt off the couch. There's other reasons I decided to do this. For one, I've been getting back into Power Rangers thanks to Boom Studios. Also, it is the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers, and I figured what better time to do one than now. However, the main reason I decided to do this is because I wanted to. Yeah, the other reasons are nice, but why do this if I'm not going to have fun? Or I'm just desperate for attention. But this intro has gone long enough, and I assure you that most episodes are not going to have this long of an intro. So, with that, let's morph right into the episode. Look, I know it's bad, just roll with it. In this episode, we have a really angry witch who was trapped in a trash can for 10,000 years and wants to destroy the Earth. Admittedly, I would want to as well. Then we have 5 teenagers with exceptionally good attitudes gets kidnapped by a really old guy who promises to make them superheroes as long as they do what he says. Sounds a lot darker when I say it. However, these teenagers say stranger danger and leave. Then they get ganged up by a group of guys who think it's Halloween every day and are forced to transform into a Japanese TV show and defeat a giant monster all on the same day. I know my plot summary sounds condescending, but here's the thing. If we took everything too serious, there wouldn't be humor. And without humor, the world would just be boring, and I really hate boring. Let's move back to something that's awesome and talk about the things I like in this episode. The command center is awesome and iconic. There's not much I can say about it. I also love Rita's moon base and how fast they were able to set that up. Or was it trapped in the dumpster as well? Ernie's is by far the most 90s place ever. And I mean that in the best way possible. With it being an arcade, a juice bar, and has karate classes, this place sounds awesome. It's too early to really talk about the characters because being a show, it's fun to watch them develop as the series goes on. So at the end of each season, I'll talk about the characters and how they've grown. I love the action scenes, but that goes without saying. And of course, how can I forget about the incredible music played in the show? A lot of the music in this show is memorable. The one thing I didn't really care for was how insulting Zordon and Alpha were when they were describing teenagers. Because here's the thing, you are entrusting the literal fate of the world into the hands of teenagers, yet you make them sound out to be the worst possible choice for the job. However, that might just be me nitpicking at this point. Now let's talk about some key notes that I took from this episode. The monster of this episode is actually Goldar. For an episode that's supposed to set up the formula, it's interesting to see that they start off with one of the main villains. He does teleport away as soon as the Megazord summons the Power Sword. He must be afraid of giant swords that fall from the sky. Granted, I would be too. I noticed that Alpha was holding an adorable robot teddy bear. A teddy bot, if you will. I also love the irony that Rita had a hand in creating the Power Rangers, as they wouldn't have morphed if it wasn't for her. Wait till Lord Zed hears about this. And the ending has the most 90s not I've ever heard. It was so extreme it causes Alpha to malfunction. Okay, so I haven't mentioned a particular part to each episode, but don't worry. I was merely just saving the best for last. For I call this part Mighty Morphin Bulk and Skull, where I talk about what the best characters ever of all time do in each episode. If you don't know who Bulk and Skull is, shame on you, but they were supposed to be the bullies of the series. Yet everyone says they should be the ones bullied, but that's not fair to say. Nobody should be bullied. They should just be the victims of slapstick comedy. Now, I admit, they don't leave the greatest first impressions as they try to get a double date with Kim and Trini, but they continue to persist even after they say no. It gets to the point where they threaten to use karate on them. They did manage to pull a flip, but landed right on their backs. The girls then suggest they go take Jason's karate class, so they force their way into his class. Their adventure for this episode concludes with Bulk landing face first on the floor. Maybe they'll start to redeem themselves next episode. However, I highly doubt that. And that's all for today's episode. If you didn't think I made a complete fool of myself, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of me talking about Bulk and Skull, then hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter where I make updates and stupid tweets. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care.